School Spirit is the newest Into the Dark episode. I've explained what Into the Dark is enough. 11 episodes into a 12 episode season. If you don't know what it is by now, Google it. So, with this show, I think the best I've ever had was I really enjoyed it, and the worst I've ever had was it was okay, meh, you know. And unfortunately, this one falls pretty much in the latter there. It's okay, it was fine, and that's a shame because about 15 minutes in, I was thinking, oh shit, this might be the first one I like really, really love. Like, I might really have something to come to you guys and be like, all right, here's the one. I've been waiting. We only have one episode left in this season. It has been renewed for a season 2, but we only have one more episode left in this season. So only one more chance for a great episode. We haven't gotten one of those yet, in my opinion. Now, this is a slasher movie. I mean, it's an hour and 20 minutes, as if you know what this show's about. Each is an anthology, and they're about an hour and a half long, so you get a feature-length movie here. And this is a slasher film. And it is a slasher film in the style of something like The Breakfast Club. Now, we've seen that before, for sure. If you watch enough slasher movies like myself, you'll know that this has definitely been done. But it's a premise I like, so you have a few kids that are in detention, and they have this really pissed off vice principal that's in there, and he's getting pretty hard on one of the students. It's absolutely taking from Breakfast Club. Little John Bender versus the principal dynamic going on in here, and the principal's getting a little too handsy and rough with the kid, blah, blah, blah. And so, I mean, that's the basic setup. There's a bunch of kids that are in detention, and one of them is this young lady who's the smartest kid in school. She's like the, shoo-in for the valedictorian. She's always got straight A's, and everyone just can't believe she's in there. Of course, you've got the bad boy. You've got the girl who's, I don't know if she's slutty, but she's the bad girl. And then you've got a couple other random kids. The dorky kid, of course. Now, this film does feature a couple cool kills. I'll say 2 kills in this movie. I was like, those are decent. Those are fine. Okay, cool. And the opening of this made it seem like, all right, we got like a pretty cool little slasher going on here. It starts to kind of turn into a whodunit. But about 15 minutes in, for me personally, I was about 20, 25 minutes in before I was like, I know who the killer is. And throughout the rest of the movie, it's just so blatantly obvious in my opinion. And it was annoying me. And when it was revealed to be right, when it was revealed for me to be right, I was just like, okay, whatever. I don't try to let that kind of stuff hurt my experience with these kinds of movies. If I figure it out, cool. But I felt like it was too heavy-handed, and it was very obvious. And that's, the biggest crime with this movie is that it is just extremely generic. The motives are generic. The kills outside of 2, which even the 2 fine kills are generic. I guess one of them is slightly inventive, and the other one kind of surprised me. So I will give it its credit for those 2 kills. I'll give it its credit for its title and the name of the killer. So in the episode, there is a killer in the school who's supposed to kill bad students, and it's called the School Spirit. And I thought that was a pretty smart little clever spin on a title there, because of obvious, you can figure it out. But yeah, the mascot or the killer of the movie is the School Spirit. I like that, but I know I'm kind of stretching there for a compliment. The film is well shot. It's got a good production value to it. All the actors are fine. The dialogue is really cringy at times. especially once they're supposed to be scared, and there's a couple characters that are running from the killer and they're trying to lock themselves up in some place, and then they start talking back and forth. Whoa, it's rough. It was rough. I was like, wow, that was a bad choice on that dialogue there. And yeah, by the end, I just didn't care. It kind of just, it moved really quick. Characters were kind of just blown right past. Like, they were trying to set up that there was background and that there was some kind of a character development moment here and there, but it never really came. There was a little bit of a twist at the end, and I liked that. I thought that was pretty cool. Not something you see very often, but as I said, it's kind of just like, this was okay, and this was kind of lame, and this was actually kind of decent, and it was kind of lame. It's just kind of a mixed bag, which I feel like evens out to a meh. I'm kind of leaning more on the side of a didn't like it, but I'm just going to kind of leave it right there in the center, like a 5 out of 10, like just a basic, generic slasher movie that could have been great. If you would have thrown in some better kills, you would have spent a little more time fleshing out some of these characters or making them a little more interesting and funny, and you wouldn't have made it so obvious who the killer was and given him better motives. That's one of the best things about old slasher movies, is the motives. I want the motives to be absolutely outlandish and ridiculous, or I want them to be really unique and smart and like, oh man, I totally get why he's doing it, and wow, I never thought of something like that. Like, that's another spin on this whole revenge tale or something, but this one's just stock. Whoever wrote this, Teddy Brown had told me that the writers for the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie, if that gives you any indication, although the special effects, CGI, whatever, is not the writer's fault, so you can't really knock the Sonic the Hedgehog movie yet until you see it, and then you can wonder whether or not that's the writer's fault or if that's, studio meddling. But the fuck, man, how hard would it be to write a Sonic the Hedgehog movie? I don't know. That sounds pretty difficult, since there really isn't much source material to my knowledge. It's just a little fucking hedgehog that runs around and collects rings with his friends. So, I don't know. Is there much of a story beyond that? I only played the Genesis versions. Maybe there's later versions where it gets some fucking crazy plot or to it, but nothing that I'm really all that aware of. Anyway, but the writers in this were just pretty lazy with stuff, and it's a shame. It could have been really great, and that's just it's what I've come to expect from this show. I feel like I've said this in the past. I just feel like these are reject movies from Blumhouse. These were reject scripts that they were like, oh well, we have some scripts here that could either be rewritten to fit around a holiday, or they are holiday themed. How about we make a show and then we film these on a really low budget and throw them out there. I don't think any of these were previously filmed, although I could be wrong. And I'm not honestly even sure what the holiday is here that they're going after. Is it like, what is it? Back to school? Is that, I don't know. What's the theme of this movie? I don't know. I thought the killer looked cool. I liked the look of the killer. They should have given it more of a background. I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's what I got to say about it. I just finished it like 2 seconds before I pressed record here. So, it's yet another. It was okay. So, there you go. One more episode this season, and then we pull the plug for however many months before the next season. So, all right, guys. Adios.